Between the friend zone and the rejection pit, there's the zone where a woman wants more of you. She wants to talk to you. She's eager to know more about you, and she doesn't want you to go. That's when you know you've done something right. And all it took to get there were these simple flirting tactics. What are those tactics? First, forget everything you thought you knew about flirting. They've obviously failed for a reason. The truth is that flirting doesn't have to be complicated. You need a script to flirt with a woman and keep her engaged. By the end of this video, you'll be armed with a toolkit of flirting techniques that not only make you stand out, but also create connections that go beyond the surface. Number 10. Being predictable is your worst enemy. The golden rule to approaching women is to know that whatever you're about to say, she's heard before. You need to remember that if you found her attractive enough to walk across the room to talk to her, so have dozens of men before you. Still, there's a reason why she's still standing in that corner. No one's piqued her interest yet. This is your time to shine. But how will you stand out from the crowd? What's up your sleeve? And what's the one thing that's different between you and all the men she's already put in the friend zone or straight up rejected? Easy. Predictability. At this point, she knows that a man walking across the room to talk to her isn't just asking her for the time. She knows you're interested, as she should. You're not trying to come off as someone who's not interested, but you're attempting to make yourself memorable amongst all the men who were. Number 9. Be someone she hasn't seen before. You don't go by the unspoken rules, the odd pickup lines, the weird gestures, and the tired moves. She's seen them all before, and she's not interested. No, you need to do something that's different while also interesting. You need to engage with her. Attempt a conversation starter that's out of the ordinary. Nothing that gives away your intent for walking over and talking to her. She'll reject you right away if she thinks you're just like any other guy. The trick is to make her realize you're the one different guy that's there tonight. Engage in a conversation with her that'll divert her attention toward you. Have her face you when she talks to you. Be interesting, be funny, and most importantly, be attentive. Number 8. Attention and intuition. There's a conversational rule, and it's to be as attentive as possible in order to be intuitive. What does that mean? Basically, by analyzing everything she says, you'll get the gist of who she is and what she's about. You know just enough about people to know what certain characteristics and traits point at. For example, you are attentively listening while she talked about her job. Your next step is to make her think you're inside her head or someone who's living the same life as her. Talk to her about her job and dive into information that makes it seem like you're someone who shares the same interests as her. You see, the men who came before you attempted to sway her off her feet with cheesy one-liners, and she rejected them straight away. You have an edge here. You've shown her that you're not just interested, but you're also a class act, someone who doesn't have to rely on a pickup line. No, you have something better. You're intelligent and witty. Maybe the other guys were. Maybe they weren't. She'll never know because they started out with the wrong move. You know what they say, first impressions matter, right? And you've just made the golden first impression. Number 7. The role reversal. Men pursuing women. That's a tale as old as time itself. It's always been the men who make the first move, pour all their energy into winning a woman over, and then face a 50-50 split between a second date or a rejection. Hey, you tried your best, right? Here's the thing. What if you could change those odds to 100% all the time? For that, though, you'd think that you'd have to be better at the dating game. Maybe be more creative with your dates, pour in more effort, and pull out all the stops, right? That's where you're wrong. You don't have to set yourself back a couple $100 just to get a woman to like you. There's nothing correlating a date at a fancy restaurant and a guaranteed second date. Just like there's nothing that confirms a date at a local Shake Shack won't sway her. Number 6. She should see you as a prize. The reason why men face rejection almost half the time is because they've gotten used to the role of being the ones in the hot seat. They believe that the woman is the one who makes the final decision in whether this thing will go somewhere or not. Here's the truth. You both get to decide that, and it's time you put her in the hot seat too. If you're sitting across the table from a woman who's intrigued enough to actually be there, you're already doing something right. The part where most men fail is when they believe they're the ones solely responsible for the situation, whereas the woman is the one solely responsible for the decision at the end of the night. That's called desperation, in other words. You need to make her realize that your happiness doesn't rest on her shoulders. You're interested, yes, but it's not like you'll beat yourself up over it if she says no. That's a fact. You really shouldn't. Number 5. She should make the decision. Your happiness doesn't depend on her. Have her be the one to make more of an effort to get you to go on a second date with her. There's such a thing as equal participation, but you need to make her realize that she has to pull the stops too. Maybe later on it's a team effort, but after you've made the first move and shown her you're interested, it's time she reciprocates the effort too. Here's the truth. If she realizes that the chances of things progressing lie on her shoulders, she'll start to view you a lot more differently. You're not just some random guy who's attempting to woo her now. You're a prize she's after, and she's going to try to do whatever she can to get to the finish line. Number 4. Know when to stop. Don't try to act disengaged or disinterested. The problem with men in the dating game is that they can't seem to understand when to start and when to stop. Sometimes, more often than you'd like to believe, men start off on the right foot and then shoot themselves in the foot halfway through. You're attempting to build something with this woman, have her interested in you. That involves making her view you as a prize, not just because you're so disinterested in the entire thing that you don't care about the outcome, but show her that the ball's in her court. She has to make the move, and you'll be happy with whatever she chooses because, again, your happiness doesn't rely on her. Number 3. It's about the energy you give off. As I said, men don't know when to start and when to stop. You'll find men who are too afraid to hold a proper conversation with a woman despite being accomplished individuals in their private and professional lives. On the other hand, you'll also find men who get too caught up in their 1 or 2 successful pursuits and think that they've cracked the dating game. You need to understand that both of those men are wrong. There isn't a set of steps you need to follow to get a woman engaged and intrigued by you. It's all about the mindset that you have and the energy that you're emitting. Think of it this way. Who's the man every woman wants to pursue? It's always the one who commands the room. They didn't follow any steps. They just emitted this energy of power and control. This guy demanded the attention without ever having to say a single word. Number 2. Pushing and pulling. So how do you become the guy everyone's itching to get a hold of? The push and pull method is your best friend when it comes to the art of flirtation. Again, there's no script here. It's all about the energy you're giving off. Start by pulling them in ever so slightly. Engage them in a conversation that holds meaning to them and pique their interest with your mystique. Then stop and start pushing. Make it known that you don't want to be the only one making an effort in the conversation. Remember, you've already gotten them engaged and intrigued. All you really have to do is appear like you're the prize they're after. Go back and forth between pushing and pulling. Put in an effort when you feel like she's played her role too. It's all about equal participation and equal energy. You want her to know that you're not like the other guys in the room. You know your worth and you respect your time. Number 1. Move on if she's not the one. Don't fixate. If she makes you pull throughout the conversation, she's not the one for you. You need someone who respects the fact that you're trying. If she's uninterested, you'll sense that and you'll walk away. When you find someone who reciprocates your energy, that's when you know you've landed yourself the perfect match. Pushing and pulling are all about balance. You don't want to play all your cards right from the very first conversation. You want to show her that you're willing to make an effort as long as she is too. Women want someone who's confident about themselves, knows their self-worth, and projects themselves as someone who doesn't rely on their validation. Pull them in by complimenting them, but push when you feel like they're the only ones at the receiving end. Know your worth, and make sure that she sees it too. Trust me, the age-old tactics of acting like you're uninterested or too interested don't work. They've never worked. Women like someone who can keep them engaged enough to demand their attention and curious enough to have them coming back for more. Thanks for watching. What are some golden flirting rules you live by? Let us know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more.